Hey everyone, it's that math magician. On this video, we're going to see if we can prove that two triangles are congruent using one of our congruency conditions. Again, with these problems, what we want to do is we want to see what sides are equal, what angles are equal, and does it match one of our conditions. So let's go ahead and jump right into this example problem where I have two triangles sort of joined together at that side AC. And we want to prove, are they congruent or are they not? The first thing we want to do is start identifying what angles are equal and what sides are equal. And I hope that it's very, very clear for us that we have this marking here at angle D, which also happens to match the markings here at angle B. So we know then for a fact that the measure of angle B is going to equal the measure of angle D. That is a fact that we know from the markings that were given to us from that drawing. So we're good. Okay, let's see now if we can come up with any other sides or angles that are equal. Now, I don't see any other angle markings, but hopefully it sort of rang a bell in your head about sides, because I mentioned earlier that they share this side here, AC. Since they're both using that side at AC, again, imagine if I took those two triangles and sort of pulled them apart. If I pulled them apart, they would both have that side AC. So since that's the case, I can just write then that AC equals CA. They both use it, so we want to show that there. Now we're doing pretty good so far. We have a side, we have an angle. It'd be really nice if we had another side or if we had another angle, because then we could probably show that they are congruent. Now I know what some of you are probably thinking. You're probably thinking that DC and AB are equal to each other. You're probably thinking that because of those markings right here. But those markings do not mean that those two sides are equal. Those markings mean that those two sides are parallel. And two sides being parallel does not mean that they're equal. But the fact that they're parallel is really going to help us out here. Because look, I know that this side AB is parallel. I'm going to sort of extend it out. I also know that this side DC is parallel. And if you notice, I have my side AC sort of cutting those two parallel lines. When you have two parallel lines and a line cutting it, or a transversal, that's what we call it, a transversal line, what ends up happening is you create angle relationships. Angle relationships are so important to us when we're proving triangles, because when we have parallel lines, we're going to have angle relationships. So because of those parallel sides, AB and DC, we have AC cutting it. That means we end up with some congruent angles. And the angles that end up being congruent are, well, we just really need one, is we're going to have this angle here is going to be congruent to this angle here by alternate interior angles. We know that they're equal because of alternate interior angles. I think we can write that into our flowchart and we are good to go. We know that these triangles are congruent. So we got to name it though, right? I can't name this angle here A. I can't name it A because there's another angle here at A. So what we have to do is we need to name this angle using the three letters that make it up. So we just have to trace it real quick. So if I trace it, we would call this guy BAC. BAC. That top angle there is what we're going to call the measure of angle BAC, and it is equal to the measure of angle DCA. DCA. I'm going to write that into my flowchart now, DCA. I'm going to close that for my flowchart. There's the other angle that I needed, and we can now conclude with some great certainty that these two triangles are congruent. Triangle BAC is congruent to triangle DCA because of, looks like we used angle, side, angle congruency. Again, the hardest part about these problems is just identifying what sides are equal, what angles are equal. And unfortunately, sometimes the angles are hiding, right? That last pair of angles, they were hiding. But if you can remember that parallel lines are going to create angle relationships. Then you'll be able to uncover them and prove that they are congruent. It's that Math Magician, and I'll see you on the next video.